Hey, so, welcome to the video, and I have a bit of a confession to make. I have actually been playing the new skate game for quite a while now. Okay, I gotta get out of this camera angle. It's incredible, but it truly is just disgusting. Like, Okay, look, I was given access to this game a while ago, probably about 2 months now, and I've been playing the playtest since then. I did play a very early playtest on when it was just literally like gray characters and texture blocks, and there was literally nothing to the game. But obviously I couldn't say anything because there was an NDA in place that I signed in order to play, so I couldn't tell you guys that I was playing it because, you know, I would break NDA that way. Anyway, here we are now, and I'm playing the game, and I'm gonna try and do a live commentary sort of gameplay while I skate around and talk about things that I want to talk about. This topic, it means a lot to me, this game series and this franchise. It means a lot to me personally more than it does to my career on YouTube, if that makes any sense. Okay, so for those who aren't familiar, who perhaps you're maybe a new viewer on my channel or anything like that, I used to make these types of videos all the time. And if you can't tell already, this is not gonna be like my usual content. This is very different from what you guys might be used to if you're a new viewer around here. It's not gonna have me and my friends messing around and doing dumb shit. It's definitely gonna have dumb shit. Like, I'm gonna do dumb shit in this game, hopefully. There we go. So I'll just be honest right now. This whole video is gonna be me talking about the Skate franchise and where it's at, and this game, and what I think about it, and what you should think about it, and you should only listen to me because I'm a content creator. You should take my word as gospel. That's how it works. I'm not just someone who kind of started playing when Skate 3 was really big. I've been playing this game since the first one came out on the original Xbox 360. And I can't give the credit to myself of discovering this series because I actually have to give it to my brother who decided to buy the original Skate when it came out, and it just absolutely opened my eyes to the culture of skateboarding even more than I already knew. Like, I had my phase when I was a kid when I was trying to skateboard in real life and whatnot, and I was never the greatest at it, so having this video game of Skate was a game changer for me. As a kid who couldn't really hang at the parks in the sense of being able to skate that well, this allowed me to enter the world and keep up with the culture it provided. I spent countless hours on the original Skate game. There is actually one mission that lives in my head rent-free for that. I think it was you had to learn how to tray flip down a set of stairs, just like that. And it was not something that my tiny young brain could not comprehend the little intricacies of how intuitive yet difficult the flick it system was. Because up until that point, I had only really played games like Tony Hawk where you simply had you just had to hit a button and then you would do the trick. You didn't have to like exactly nail where the stick was supposed to go in a certain angle. But once you did learn that trick and you did learn how to do it successfully all the time, like this, it never left me. That's something that absolutely blew my mind because that is almost exactly what skateboarding is like. Once you learn a trick, not saying that I ever really did, I could barely pull off a kickflip or anything further than that, but once you did learn the mechanics of a trick and understand how to do it, it never left you. The skill itself is just ingrained in you now. And that's why it was so intuitive and impressive to me when I was younger that this whole system was just not like press a button, but instead learn the actual mechanics of the game and get better that way. Without a doubt, I can truly say that the Skate franchise is just one of those games that I just am so happy that I've had the privilege of being able to play. Honestly, in total, I've probably spent at least thousands of hours on this game franchise in general between Skate 1, 2, and 3. And actually, when I ended up making the switch to PC gaming, I literally kept an original Xbox 360 on my desk in my office so I'd be able to play Skate 3 and 2 until they were ported to the newest version of the consoles. It's not really a game I've ever necessarily made content on myself. I've done a couple videos here and there, but for the most part, it's not really been a part of my bread and butter. It's just something that I really enjoy as a pastime. And of course, with all this like nostalgia I get from this game series, and especially with this new iteration of the game, I'm aware the community is extremely split on this game and how it's sort of fleshed out to this point. And it's very obvious that the game does have some downsides if you've been paying attention, and I totally think it's warranted to talk about them in general and at least, you know, show you guys what I think about it. Because even though this doesn't fit with my normal content, this is something that means a lot to me So I feel like at least a little bit of my opinion is valid in this situation. Now, skate devs, don't be mad at me, okay? I'm just gonna rip the band-aid off, but this is all constructive criticism at the end of the day, and I feel like it needs to be heard, whether it be by you or EA. And don't get me wrong, it's not all negatives, okay? All my points here are not going to be all negatives. There are things I really enjoy about the game. At this moment in time, at least at, you know, when I'm recording this and what appears to be the final version that will be shipping when early access drops for the public. And look, I have been playing this game, okay? I have every challenge done. I get on and do the dailies every day with joy. I enjoy them. They're fun. But over time, these challenges can get a little repetitive. And I'm sure they will just add more challenge variety as time goes on. I probably put a solid 24 hours into this game already, all right? It's been a grind, and I'm enjoying it. No pun intended. But at this moment, I have to say that the game feels like it's built first as a store before an actual skating game. Right off the bat, you can kind of tell, you understand what they're going for. The purple little symbols here, this is all real world currency. This is credits that you buy in game here, and this is like kind of, I get what they're doing. It's a free to play title. I understand. Some stuff needs to be behind paywalls and whatnot, because the game's gotta make money. That's just how it works with free-to-play. And obviously, I should mention as well that there are items that are available just by playing the game and getting regular tokens from just doing in-game challenges to unlock other stuff and cosmetics and emotes. That's all in these boxes here. Like, it is possible. My issue with this really lies in the fact that a lot of the cosmetic items, such as clothing, emotes, you name it, they feel and look very complete and fleshed out. Whereas some of the core elements to the Skate franchise are just missing entirely. What they chose to prioritize when it came to fleshing out the actual game itself is completely backwards. Like, they literally have a Skate Pass, which is their version of a Battle Pass that will be launching when this game goes into early access. Available day one, but there are so many other missing features that I feel like are so important to the core, like, mechanics of these games that they're just missing right now. And they're put on the back burner for things like a Skate Pass. When you're missing stuff like features like extra tricks that were in previous titles, like dark slides or hand plant variations, or even hitching to cars that are moving on the street. I should probably also mention that you probably noticed the road looks a little weird. There are still some visual bugs that exist in at least the version I'm playing right now. I'll show a screenshot on the screen of what the road actually usually looks like, but, you know, right now it's just weird, so we'll just have to deal with it, I guess. You can't grab onto the back of cars anymore. I don't know, they haven't stated that is specifically coming back, but they have mentioned that stuff in the roadmap, like dark slides, hand plant variations, are coming in future updates. But like I said, this stuff is all in a previous version of these games. Over 15 years ago, Skate 3 dropped, and it had these features. But the other side of the coin to this is that there are new tricks and features available in this game that were never available in previous skate games. Like, for example, wallies or even endless flips. Like being able to flip your board in a kickflip more than 4 times. You could never go over a quadruple flip in previous games. It was always capped at 4. Now you could just spin to your heart's content. And that's kickflips, that's heel flips, that's 360 flips, that's pop shove-its. You can spin them forever, and they're going to be adding more variations for tricks where that's even physically possible. Not even tricks being missing from the game and the core aspects, but also things that are so crucial to the community aspect of this game. Stuff like missing keyframes for replay mode. So in the replay mode, you cannot add little, like in the old games, I'd be able to set a keyframe here, and then when he runs this way, I'd be able to set another keyframe here. So it would follow the character. You cannot do that yet. And again, they've said this is in the roadmap, but if that brings me back to my original point, it feels like it's built as a microtransaction store before a complete skate experience. Other missing features include, I'm just gonna say it now, and I know this is gonna hurt a lot of people's feelings, but Hall of Meat has been completely neutered from this game. It's not a thing yet. There's no really, like, who can break the most bones challenge with your friends. That just doesn't exist. Right now, in the game, they're called stunts. And I'll just show you a little bit what that's like. The crazy fly into different things and hit different items on the map and, you know, jump off the building and just torpedo into the ground like a madman. You know, it's fun, but no broken bones. Obviously, this is a big one for people. I see this complaint all the time. Honestly, I think it's an unfortunate side effect of them trying to reach a wider audience and get a lower rating. You can't really, you know, show broken bones, violence. It just kind of falls into that category. For me, not a massive selling point, because Hall of Meat wasn't really my thing. It was definitely entertaining, but it was never something that I really focused on when I played these games. I always just liked the street skating aspect. Now, this next one does bother me a little bit. How can you have a skate game without a way to play the actual game of skate in it? I just don't get it. And I'm probably not even scratching the surface of things I'm just not thinking about when it comes to missing features, and that could go for the other side too, right? Like, there's probably a lot of stuff that I'm not thinking of that is completely new to the franchise with this installment. That being said, even though there are all these missing features, at least they added an emote where I can finally fent lean in all of my favorite parts of this map. You can literally just skate around while doing this emote. It's actually criminal. Like, you can actually just sit here fent leaned out doing random kickflips, no problem, just running into rails and falling. Alright, with all of that being said, I feel like it's time I move on, because I feel like if I stay on this topic, I'm gonna keep yapping in circles, and there's really no point to it. Okay, this next part is probably a pretty big one for a lot of people, but I'm talking about the story mode for this game. It is literally non-existent. It's scrap. Doesn't exist. The only real version of a story that exists in this game is literally just a glorified tutorial that just teaches you the basics. As far as I know, and based off what I could just speculate, I'm pretty sure the dev team at Full Circle had an idea for an actual story mode to go along with this game, but I honestly think EA made the devs at Full Circle completely pivot and fully focus on an online-only experience. There are no cutscenes, there are no interactable characters on the map, there's not even any pros in the game at this moment. This new skate game, in a story-wise sense, is a complete far cry from the previous skate experiences. So if you're looking for something like that in this game, you are simply just not gonna find it. At least at this moment. Who knows what could happen with a live service game? They do have lots of plans in the roadmap, and who knows what this game could look like 2 or 3 years from now. And this is the part where I become conflicted, because after listing all of these things that kinda, you know, are negatives of the game, I have to admit that this is sort of the experience that I've been looking for when it comes to a skate game. Now, I don't mean that I support all the nonsense that I've listed here. I'm just saying that for a casual skate experience where I can hop on for 30 minutes when I have an hour of time to spare, it's exactly what I'm looking for. And everyone says this that has played the game so far. The actual skate mechanics, at least street-wise, are the best the game has ever been. That being said, I think the vert skating could use like a little bit of work, because it feels good when you're free-flowing through like a park like that, but then when you're stuck in like a bowl or a half pipe, it just feels kind of off. But like I said, the street skating is immaculate, and I don't know if you can tell from this video, everything just feels smooth. Based on everything I've played so far, it feels like there's a lot of good street spots on this map. But since in the lore that this city was built for skaters, some of the spots feel like too obvious. To me, part of the charm of skating is finding spots that aren't made to be skated and just finding a way to skate them. Pair that with these big, massive open plazas that feel like so much wasted space, it sometimes feels like not a living and breathing city at all. And for anyone looking for like the fast thrill skating, you have to pretty much take to the rooftops. And even then, the options are pretty limited. In my opinion, there is a serious lack of variety on the base map when comparing it to a game like Skate 3. That game had the quarry, the mega park, and in general just a more downhill landscape. But even with that, they found a way to balance gameplay between street and vert skating with it. Look, all this being said about the map, the devs have stated multiple times that there are more skatable areas coming to this game eventually, but I mean, that could mean like anything. Everything that I've seen on social media regarding this game that has at least gone viral and popped up in my feeds has always been gameplay of people doing the most unrealistic stuff possible. Whether that be something as like jumping off a roof and then getting on your board in midair and landing, or even something simple as like flying spread eagle randomly like this, down, like literally, look at that. Look, I could slide around and do all this dumb shit, but I haven't been doing any of it. You know, because it's not my style of play. People say, oh, this game is too unrealistic. You know, it's a realistic simulator skate game. It's never been. Have you played the original skate games at all? Even the first one was wacky. 2, they amped it up a little bit, and 3, they brought it to the max, but it's never been a grounded experience. It can be. You can play this game as a grounded experience. The customization alone in the settings is absolutely amazing. If I could find it real quick. Look, you have all these options for toggling off tricks or whatever, how you spin your camera, your vert pump assist. You can adjust so much in this game. Having this style and allowing people to play whatever style they want. If someone wants to go jump off that roof up there, they can do it. It's not for me. I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna keep street skating down here. Will I do it sometimes? Yeah, because it's a lot of fun. Like, I could go ahead and grind around this entire stadium if I wanted. This is ridiculous. This shit is not possible in real life. Maybe not right now. I'm not gonna count us humans out in 200 years if we make it that long. Someone might be able to pull this off. But right now, I do not think this is possible. This being said, it's available. For people who like this style of goofiness, it's in the game. You could just do this on a whim. It's not a big deal. If you want to come up here and fent lean, you can. This sort of stuff in this game is not taking away the rest of it. Like, I could go right back. I probably should have bailed there, to be honest. But you know what? We're suspension of disbelief. It's a video game, okay? There we go. This is my stuff. You could be up there doing that. I'll be down here hitting sick lines and bailing down 3 stairs because I suck at the game. I think the people who are complaining about the non-realistic portions of this game are just completely ignoring the fact of truly how goofy Skate 3 was as a product itself. You could literally fly down huge ramps and do crazy shit all the time in that game. Like, Skate 3 literally had to be reprinted onto new discs and get a second release because of how popular that stuff was becoming on the internet. The goofy, crazy mega ramp stuff, like, it went super viral on YouTube. I remember that era. I was there. I wasn't a part of it, but I remember it. And I was just sitting there with my 6 copies of Skate 3 that I had from over the years because in case one disc broke or something happened, my machine scratched it up, I had another. Okay, sorry, I'm getting a little heated. I apologize, alright? There's just some stuff that doesn't make sense to me what people complain about because it's... What the hell? What do you want? You are tall. You make me look so... I'm so sorry. I don't mean to be... My fault, y'all. That was a complete accident. I don't know what came over me there. Alright, my next topic I want to cover in this video is, one that's kind of controversial, but also isn't at the same time because it's kind of the way the gaming industry is, and it's just an unfortunate situation that we're in where we have to suffer through it, and it's the only way we're gonna get a skate game in this time and era. So let's talk about the game's progression and how it works and why the fuck I just ran into that vending machine and it just spit me back out the other way. So in this game, you can do challenges. As you saw on the map earlier, where's the map button? I'm stupid. Here it is. Here's the map. Okay, so as you saw earlier, I have all these challenges done. The challenges are these little orange ones that pop up and they refresh every 24 hours. You complete a challenge, you acquire these things called RIP tokens. RIP tokens allow you to buy things over here from these boxes. Unfortunately, it's a mystery box. That's just, I mean, that's just free to play in a nutshell, isn't it, nowadays? And I don't love it. I hope they make it so you could just pick what you want, but I doubt that's gonna happen because this creates longevity, and if you don't get the item you want, you're gonna keep grinding till you do get it. My only problem is, and I don't think they have, I don't know if this change will stay, but they have completely nerfed the amount of these tokens you can get while doing the dailies. And I get it. It's supposed to be grindy, and you're supposed to play the game for longer periods of time to get the items you want. I understand how the system works. I also understand that the reason they're doing that is so they can push these items more that are worth real-world currency. And I'll be honest, a lot of the ones that pop up in here, I'm not a fan of. That's just not stuff I would wear. I don't think I'd ever wear these leggings, for example. Although my thighs are absolutely doing them justice. With all this being said, you don't have to buy this stuff worth real-world currency. Of course, there's a couple items you're probably gonna want, and that's probably what they're counting on. As he says, while he's already purchased the Dickies bundle, shut up, I like Dickies, okay? Don't judge me all you want, I don't care. But right now, everything I'm wearing on my character, I think aside from my shoes, was unlocked in-game for free. And, I mean, obviously, my opinion, he looked kind of fire. And usually I'm wearing a hat because the bald is kind of jarring, but I'm keeping him bald for the video. I honestly think my only other complaint regarding the clothing, besides some of the items being paywalled, is you can't style the clothing anymore. In previous skate games, you'd be able to do things like turn your hat backwards, or to the side, or even open your button shirt. For some reason, that's just not in this game, and to be honest, that's kind of a letdown. But even with those limitations, you could still create some really cool outfits. Like all this stuff I've unlocked in game. I don't think I've bought a top besides this Dickies one here. Everything else you see in here has been free. And I know what people are gonna say. Smitty, you're a guy who played the old game. You know the amount of stuff they had available for unlocks in there just by playing the game. I know, but it's 2025, and unfortunately, that's where we are in gaming. The best thing you could do is vote with your wallet. I couldn't pass up the fire-ass Vans, though. My character even tapped his feet because he knew how sick they were with the yellow stripe. And I already know people are gonna look at stuff like this and say, you know, the community's gonna overreact and say, like, oh, this is so, why would they put this in this game? It looks so stupid. Which I agree with you, but you don't have to buy it. The people who are gonna buy this are gonna buy it. That's just how it works now. Fortnite has done irreparable damage to how a live service game functions. But to the people saying this is unrealistic for this game and it shouldn't be in it, may I remind you there was a fucking slab of meat you can skate as in Skate 3? I'm not kidding. If you didn't know that, that's like a real thing. There's even a skeleton character called Dead Bones, which was my favorite thing to skate as in Skate 3 because Lamau, look at the fucking skeleton hit a tray flip 3 stair. I forgot, they even added it to this game. I literally have the slab of meat, and this is arguably more realistic than what was in Skate 3. This is a guy wearing a meat costume. In Skate 3, it was literally a 230-pound ribeye. And when it comes to art direction and whatnot and how they've designed these characters, I can look past it, because at the end of the day, when I'm skating this direction and I'm not really paying attention to my character necessarily, it's not something I notice. I usually have a hat on this character. I don't notice the bald head. Yeah, it looks a bit Fortnite-ish and it's cartoonish. Maybe they've turned that dial a little bit too far, but the skating is what feels good. The skating should be the whole point of why you play this game. Not the cosmetics, not the way your character looks. It should come down to how the board moves and how the game plays. I honestly think my only real issue with the art direction of this game is that the city just doesn't look gritty enough. And that being said, this area of the map here, hold on, sorry, sorry, but let me get, I just saved, sorry, hold on. The area of Brixwich, I don't know what they'd want to call it. This place has some of my favorite spots in this game. There's multiple industrial spots, which are my favorite. Tiny little red brick alleyways to skate. And even the outside of the stadium just has a lot of really good spots. Not to mention, they have potential there to open up the stadium and have, like, stuff inside of it. Okay, look, in the lore of this game, they've laid it out already. They've said, like, it's just a city ran by skaters. Everyone skates here 24/7. There's, like, 150 other people in this game with me right now. If there are that many people skating on this map day to day, shouldn't there be some more wear and tear on all these ledges? Shouldn't there be, like, shouldn't everything be waxed up? Everything should be torn up and banged up. It's all way too sterile. For a map with this many people on it and a city supposedly overrun by skaters, it should look a lot more dingy and gritty and just torn up than it does right now. It literally looks way too sterile. Like, no one has ever skated here, ever. Like, this is the first time it's ever happened. Another small pet peeve when it comes to that sort of, you know, gritty aesthetic is that after all this skating I've done in this video, literally my board is just clean. It's clean. There's no scratch marks. There's no, you know, the trucks they look a little beat up. I think they did that texture on purpose already, but the bottom of the board, the lip, the nose, it's pristine. I don't love that. I think over time, there should at least be an option where over time, if I'm skating, it eventually starts to chew up the board. And then maybe there's like a clean board option. Like I can hit a button and it cleans my board for me for screenshots, whatever, you know? Again, this is all stuff that is in previous skate titles. When you used to skate in previous games and you would bail, your character's appearance would become more scuffed. Your board would get chopped up because you were hitting rails constantly or grinding ledges, or it's just, it doesn't make sense to me on why it all needs to be cleaned. At least give the option for the people who played the old games. You know, the people who enjoy that gritty aesthetic. It should be a visual option you can turn on. Maybe that's something they're working on, but they've never really commented on it, to my knowledge. Now, if we want to talk about my biggest beef with this game, it's pretty simple, and it's a big one that it's on a lot of people's minds who are into this game or have been following it for a long time. It is online only. That's right. This skate game is going to be online only, and I know I'm acting like no one has ever heard that before, but what terrifies me and a lot of other people who are aware of the live service model and the online only model is that if this game does fail, what does that mean for it? Is it gone forever? Are they going to shut off the servers and that'll be it? You can see why people would be concerned when it comes to that, especially myself. I am extremely concerned because imagine me waiting 15 years for a new skate edition to come out and it fails in the first year. And it's gone. They shut off the servers. You can't play it anymore because it's online only. That would be no short of a tragedy. I don't even know. That would suck so much. I could sit here all day finding ways to describe how much it would suck. But that's not the only thing, right? When we're talking about online-only games. How do you play this game if you are, you know, on an airplane? You know, if you want to whip out your Steam Deck and play it on the airplane, how are you supposed to do that if it's online only? You could connect to the Wi-Fi, I guess, on planes, but obviously the connection's not going to be good enough for it to sustain itself. Maybe if the game does fail, I hope to God it lasts for 10 plus years. But if it does fail, I hope they implement, at the end of the game's life cycle, some sort of offline mode where they don't support it anymore, but you can play the game, the latest patch, by yourself. That's just, I feel like that's the only realistic outcome for this. I don't see them adding online support and having servers and whatnot if this game fails. And that would suck so much. Because for me, all I'm looking for is just a game I could just skate around on for an hour. Like I've said very early on in the video, that is all I care about. All this other little shit doesn't bother me that much because I just like getting on, doing the challenges, and even if there weren't challenges in the offline mode, if you could just literally skate around like I like doing, that would be enough for me. I know a lot of people don't agree with me on that one, but that's, if we're talking bare minimum for what they should do, that is it. I just can't imagine if this game does fail and we all waited 15 years for a new Skate game to come out and it just dies. And that's it. But I have to imagine that someone at EA, or Skate rather, or Full Circle, the development team, has put that on a whiteboard at some point. Like, I have to imagine that's come across and they've thought about it, and it's something that they are interested in doing actively when this game, if this game dies. I think the thing to take away from this whole video, for me personally, is that a lot, but not all, of these negatives are just simply outweighed by how good the game plays. This is, again, my opinion. The devs have stated on their roadmap they released for this game and in constant devlogs that a lot of the missing features that were available in previous titles will be coming to this game. But if you did ask me if I would wish for this game to be left a little longer in the oven to cook, I would probably say yes. If that means a more complete Skate product is presented, I would be totally into that idea. But I feel like the ship has sailed at this point. But you know what? That's kind of what early access is nowadays. You're buying into a game that is, well, not even buying. The game is free to play. I think that's the main thing to look at here. But for lack of a better term, you are buying into a game that is not finished, right? There are things that are still to be added. And there are a couple things that I would absolutely love to see in this game that have never been in the Skate game before. For example, a day-night cycle. I feel like it would be so cool to have spots that look really good at night and you have that added pressure to get that clip during the limited nighttime before it turns day. Even adding something like dynamic weather would be a great feature for this game too. Okay, I'm jumping in the middle of this video during editing because I do want to point something out that's actually really cool about the live service potential of this game. Like right now at the time of recording this, there's actually a spot on the map where they have a skate park that's built in the same style as the Dime Glory Challenge that's currently going on in Montreal. Just think about the possibilities of like when the Olympics roll around and they can add the street park that is actually used in the Olympics in these areas. But yeah, that's it for me. So I guess back to the regular video. Ultimately, I think a lot of people just don't know or understand that this game had to be completely built from the ground up in the Frostbite engine. This essentially just means they weren't able to directly take previous features from Skate 1, 2, or 3 and implement them into this one because they were built on a whole different game engine entirely. Like, I'm pretty sure the entire Flick-It system had to be rebuilt from the ground up. And I have to admit, it's an absolute miracle that we are even getting the style we have received in this game. Like I said, it plays fantastic. They have nailed, like, how it feels to skate in this game. It is so sad. Okay, so if for those wondering, the skate jank is still in this game. But at the end of the day, time will tell if the devs can put together a solid product and keep this alive. Unfortunately, I happen to find myself in this situation where two of my favorite game series of all time, being Skate and Battlefield, are both owned by EA. But you know what? Who knows? Battlefield 6 is looking promising at this point, so maybe they can do the same thing with Skate. And I know it comes down to more the development team than EA, but oh, I know what they can do. I'm very aware of what EA does to my favorite franchises. I have seen it. But look, I think that's gonna wrap this one up. Hopefully this was a long enough session for you guys. My brain is absolutely melted. There's a guy with skeleton pants in front of me. What is he doing? He's wearing a skeleton hat. He's really tall. He's actually intimidating me right now, I'm not gonna lie. Did he just take a picture of my feet? Don't know how long this video is gonna be, but if you stuck around and listened to me yap for a whole hour while just skating around in this game and talking about the state it's in and what I think about it and admitting that I actually have fun on it at the moment, I appreciate you more ways than you can imagine. If you're someone that has just popped in and watched this whole thing to get some random guy's opinion on the Skate franchise and you absolutely hate me now, or maybe you agree with me, I appreciate you too. Doesn't matter. For everyone who enjoys Skate, we are all on the same team here. There are things we can disagree on, but at the end of the day, we both just want a good product. I don't know at this point. Leave a like if you enjoyed my rambling, and subscribe if you're new around here. I don't do content like this almost ever, so don't expect this ever again, for that matter. I don't know. We'll see how this video does.